Lone Star Drift audience, I am Aaron from Lone Star Drift, obviously, and this is Connor Murphy. He is one of our drivers, one of our excellent Texas Street legal drivers. He just podiumed third place at Grand Sport Speedway, and I want to chat with him because he is one of the, I don't know, like, the Japanese got into drifting in the 90s, and then like in the early 2000s I got into it in like 2002 or 2003 when you were still like a little tiny baby, and you got into it much later. What year?
Like 2015.
Dang.
Yeah.
So he's one of the much later generations. So I thought we would chat with him because probably a lot of you guys are the later generations that got into drifting. So I got into drifting because I was watching option videos and best motoring videos, and like I found this weird niche-y, like cult drifting thing that was Japanese, and the American version didn't exist yet. So I was into the Japanese version first, and then the American version popped up after I was already into it. So like I was influenced a certain way. Anyways, long story short, like what got you into drifting? What was influential for you? What was your first experience with drifting? Like what did you see? Why did you think it was cool? Just explain all those things.
So when I was in high school, when I was buying my first car, I didn't really know what I wanted, but I wanted something cool, and like I started looking up different cars to buy, and I wanted something rear-wheel drive. I don't even know why like I got into cars really, but I wanted to like start drifting for some reason. I think I just like got on YouTube and started seeing drifting videos, and so I started looking up 240s, and I got an S13 hatch off Craigslist for like $2,500.
But before you got to the 240SX, you had to arrive on like drifting videos and stuff. What were the videos you were watching? Where were they from? Who were they of? Why was it a 240SX? Why was it a hatch?
I don't even know, dude. I like came across it like when I was just like scrolling YouTube, and like my mom's been into cars, and my grandpa, they're into old like antique cars, you know. So my mom has a '67 Camaro. So I wanted something like rear-wheel drive where you can, you know, like peel out and stuff. That was like in high school, that was the thing you wanted to do, you know? So like, I just wanted to find something like that. And then I started looking up like cool, cheap, reliable, like rear-wheel drive cars, and a 240SX came up.
Well, you were sadly mistaken, but keep going.
Oh yeah, you have no idea. Or I guess you do. You do have an idea.
Yeah, I do.
You've had tons of them.
I've had more than 50 of these things.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I've had 4, I think.
I've had more than probably 9 Skylines.
Jesus.
I've had more than like 14 JZX.
Yeah, you've had a lot of cars.
100s and 90s. Okay, so going back, what's the first influential piece of drifting media you can remember? What sculpted your idea of drifting?
Rain drifting. I just started looking up like videos of people rain drifting, and I think it was just people doing like on-ramps and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah. Like,
did you just
videos.
Google it or like YouTube it, or like how are you looking at it?
Well, so it was, that's the thing, is it's so far, like so long ago, I don't even remember.
No, it's not. It was 7 years ago. That's not
but
old
like
at
for
all.
me, that's a long
I started
time.
drifting 20 years ago.
I know, but I was in high school. Like I was just like worried about smoking weed with my friends, you know? Like,
I feel like that's all you worry about now.
No, nah.
Okay,
I don't even smoke weed now.
So you haven't told me anything useful yet. I haven't badgered it out of you about what type of like influential drifting videos you watched. Were they American? Were they Japanese?
Yeah, they were American.
Okay, so you definitely didn't get in the Japanese side.
No, I didn't get into the
side.
Japanese side until like I started driving for you.
Okay.
Actually, it wasn't until
driving for me like he's an Uber driver?
Yeah, right. Yeah, driving for Lone Star. But it wasn't until I went to Japan, because remember I had the BMW. And so like, I had the E30 and I started driving that, and the thing drove like dog shit, you know? And it was super slow.
Did I always make fun of him, like, get out of that thing?
Dude, so I remember Mineral Wells, I think it was like 2017 or something. I drove up, it was when the E30 was red, and I drove up and you were like, can this thing do a burnout? And I did a burnout, and you're like, honestly, I was like, I didn't even think it would do a burnout.
Okay, so we don't have any influential pieces of drifting media except that. Like, okay, what was the first drift car that you wanted that was influential and made you drift, like build
An
a car?
S13?
No, I mean like, was it a local American one? Was it somebody in Texas that you saw and you replicated? Because to get to that E30 that you had that was painted red.
Oh, dude, I went through so many cars.
Did you?
Yeah, it was insane. Like, I would go through a car like every 2 months in high school, and like after that, like I would just like.
You were just flipping them or what?
Yeah, like I mean, I got to this thing by flipping cars. You know, because I started with an E30 and then I sold it, or I traded it for an S14 SR car, and that thing was just like a piece, you know. And Harrison actually drifted that a bunch, like in the rain and stuff. And then I sold that and bought the E30. And then I started drifting that. And then I went to Japan with you. Came back, sold the E30, and bought an S13. It was insane. It was crazy.
So what was better about the S13 from the E30?
The power and also like the steering. Like they just drive themselves.
Yeah.
You know? It's amazing.
That makes sense.
So,
Okay.
and I just wasn't competitive with the E30.
So I guess getting to the timeline where you can actually remember something.
Yeah.
What, like, you know, you got in with Harrison, you got in with some of these guys, some good drifters.
Yep.
Like, how did you become a drifter? How did you get into drifting with like us? What were the steps?
So, we'll start from the beginning. I went to elementary school with Harrison.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
I went to
We went way
elementary
back.
school with Harrison, and then some stuff happened with my parents, and I moved to Austin, so I didn't know, like I didn't keep in contact with him. And then in high school, my buddy Travis started hanging out with Harrison, and he was like, you gotta meet this dude Harrison. Like he drifts cars and stuff, you know, like it's just what, because I was like into cars at the time, you know. So I was like, okay, cool, I'll meet him. And we went to a car meet, and I met him again, and we both were like, holy shit, we know each other, you know what I mean?
Oh, because you went to school, obviously.
Yeah. And so we like started hanging out again, and then I started going to events with him and like crew chiefing for him. And after the first year, I was like, dude, I got to do this, you know? So I just started like saving up money. Well, I guess I was flipping cars at the time.
But so you went to events for a while before you even bought a drift car and did everything.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, cool. I had cars that I would just mess around with, you know, but I wouldn't take them to events and stuff. It wasn't until the E30 that I started going to events. For
a preface for you guys on YouTube, Harrison Johnson is one of our drivers that started off driving with us when he was 14. He drove a V8 Volvo sedan that his father drove him to school in when he was a kid, and he did very well. Excellent driver, worked at a racetrack for a long time, still drifts with us, was judging today, which is probably why you got third.
Yeah, maybe.
No, I'm joking. And
I got 3 one more.
So he's been around a long time, and he's very influential to a lot of drivers.
Yep.
That's funny to me because I would think that Harrison's so young. Like, you know, he also has a new kid, Danny, who he kind of teaches. And
Danny's a ripper.
Yeah.
He's insane.
But it blows my mind that you guys now probably had more experience and exposure with drifting early on with just Texas drifting, it sounds like, than you did with anything that like culturally was relevant to me or even Cy, our cameraman, you know, how we got into drifting, which is kind of cool.
Well, and that's the thing is like, I wasn't like, when I had the E30, I was into drifting, you know, but like, it was just fun for me. And like, I would just drive with my friends a little bit, you know, but the car was super slow. And then I went to Japan, and like we were riding in the JZXs in the S13 SR car with Nick, and I was like, this thing's pretty cool.
Oh, the one he blew up that I loaned him for for winning our series. All right. So you're gonna win this year and go to Japan?
I mean, I hope so. That'd be cool.
The Texas Street Legal Series, by the way, which he drives in, you have to like run stock injectors and like the engine that came in the car kind of thing and all these different things, which we allow the SR20 and the 240SX because it came together as a package, not here, but whatever. And we try to keep the cars not equal, but from blowing up, because that's all I care about.
Yeah.
Has this car blown up?
No, never.
How many years on the same motor?
4.
Dang.
Yeah.
What brakes on this thing?
Gaskets. I just blow gaskets all the time.
On the turbos?
Oh yeah. So I used to blow up transmissions like every 2 events, but now it's a CD09. So I don't have that.
Do you like the CD09?
Yeah, I love it. It shortens the gearing, so it's like perfect for almost every track.
Okay, cool.
Because I noticed that like with the SR trans, the gearing's so long. You know, like second gear is good for like almost this whole track. You know,
Well, not the entry. Not going fast.
I know, dude. Yeah, true.
No.
Not going fast, but like
No.
you would literally like.
I've had an SR and an SR trans. It does not do that.
Yeah, but like stock power, you know, like you enter third and literally have to shift right down to second.
No, that's true. All right.
Like,
so,
I couldn't even do speed sports.
So what would you like to talk about real quickly? Anything, or do you just want me to keep going?
Yeah, you can just keep going.
So what is your ultimate goal in drifting, or like where do you want to be in drifting? Because a lot of you guys now are doing something very static. I don't know if static's the right word, but you've been driving this car and about this build and trim now for
2 years.
Feels a lot longer, doesn't it?
Well, so like I'll like update it and stuff.
Sometime, but yeah, no, I mean like you've been driving it for quite some time.
Yeah.
Man, it's got to be like at least 4 years like this. With an SR and stuff.
Oh, yeah. 4 years, yeah.
Okay.
But like
at least
I'll like
4
change
years.
the body kit and
So
stuff.
you've been driving it for a long time. You don't get to change the engine and you make tons of power, which is kind of cool because it keeps it together and also saves you a ton of money.
Yeah.
You probably mostly just spend money on tires.
I don't even spend money on tires.
Really?
Yeah.
How long do the
doesn't go
tires
through
last?
tires. Those are dead Kendas.
Holy cow, they're Kendas?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Those are dead Kendas that I ran at the Coda demo last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many tires do you go through in a season?
6.
What?
Yeah.
How much do you drive?
A lot.
Wow, I go through 6 in a day.
Dude, the Coda demo, I got like 200 laps on one set of tires.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Well, because the gearing's so short.
Yeah.
There's no wheel speed.
Yeah. I did that in that E36 I had. I'd put on somebody else's scrubs and do 50 laps and just be
Yeah.
like, wah.
Yeah. I mean,
But then I would drive a V8 car and just like smoke
Just
show.
roast
Okay,
them.
so what do you want to be, like where do you want to be in drifting in whatever time period? Because like when you got into drifting, Harrison, a lot of these guys probably wanted to do Formula D.
Yeah.
That was probably the path. That kind of closed down to most of you guys.
Mm-hmm.
There is going to Japan or like doing drift weeks or just doing Texas Street Legal or doing style-based things or doing, I mean, there's a ton of different things to do in drifting. It's not just my stuff for Formula D. What do you want to do in drifting?
I want to do everything.
Flip your mic back up. Keep going.
Oh.
You're good.
I'm here for the experience. You know what I mean? Like, I want to do Drift Week. I want to do all these events. I love coming to these events because it's super fun. Like, all my friends are here. We hang out, you know, like, I get to do what I love, which is driving. And I just want to keep doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't plan on making it a career or anything. I just like having fun.
You did base your career currently around drifting though, right? You fabricate stuff for drift cars?
Yeah, I do fabrication for drift cars, which is cool, but you know, you have to deal with a lot of drift kids, which
Such as yourself?
like just me, just me.
And all your friends?
Yeah.
Who all want hookups? Nobody wants to pay full price?
Yeah, but I mean, for the most part, it's not too bad. I might start working with Russell a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I just do like mechanic work and fabrication whenever I can.
Is that where you want to be in 5 years? Still doing the same thing? Do you still want to be driving an S13 in 5 years?
Yeah, I might change the power plant.
Yeah. To what?
Probably a 1J or 2J or something.
Too late.
Yeah, I know, right? Everything's
10
so
grand.
expensive. Yeah. it's
Actually, by the time
Well,
you
I mean-
swapped one now, God,
Yeah, but like SR is right up there. They're like 6 or 7 grand.
I can't believe
still.
anyone would buy it though.
Oh, I know. I mean, someone would
Not
buy
bad.
this one probably like 4 years unopened.
Man,
Works.
I was buying whole Silvias that drove
Oh, I know.
for
Yeah.
$3,500
I bought this thing for 3 grand
with an SR in it.
with an SR and a cage,
Yeah, dang.
fully caged SR car.
So what do you think the go-to chassis would be for drift kids now? Especially since you're building drift cars and
Dude,
stuff. Do
I hate
people
to
ask
say
you
it.
and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I hate to say it, but like a Z or a Vet, that's it. Like that's the only option, pretty much.
Not
Like a-
other 240SXs that are
No
beat
way.
and ready to go?
No way.
No? They're all
just
junk now.
They're tin cans, yeah. They're like, unless you find like a super clean one, they're just horrible, every single one. Like I've gone to look at a few and I'm just like, nope, not gonna do it.
In a lot of these interviews, I talk about how I don't think we realized for the past like 8 years in the United States, we've been in like a golden age of drifting,
Yeah.
where drift cars were stupid cheap and we didn't really realize it, kind of like in Japan, and now Japan's golden age is over and things are getting expensive. Ours is different because like we have cheap fuel, even with how expensive our fuel is now.
Yeah.
It's still cheap. But tires are getting expensive, or like, you know, specific things are getting expensive. And then all of our chassis that we wanted are getting expensive. Diffs are getting expensive. The aftermarket parts are pretty cheap, but like,
Yeah.
if you want to put a cool diff in here, that's,
It's
you know,
so
a
expensive.
Nissan-based diff or anything, like, you know, it's pretty I mean, it's not $50 anymore. It's several $100s just to get a diff. And that's a consumable in these cars where with the V8 cars, like, you know, we're blowing through a couple diffs a season sometimes.
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the reasons why.
Or SR trans.
Yeah, exactly.
They were $50 before, and now they're $1,000 or something. How much is an SR trans?
Dude, I bought one. You remember on Drift Week when I drove NOLA and I blew the transmission up? I bought one for $150, which was like expensive for me at the time.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, $150? No way. But like it had, you know, a short shifter and everything. And then I went CD09 and I sold that trans for $500.
Dang.
Like instantly.
And it's way worse condition than when you got it.
Yeah, and I was like, okay. But
Dang.
like, I mean, SR trans right now are like $600 or $700, you know? Like I have an S15 6-speed trans in my shop that's probably worth $1,000.
You used to not be even able to sell those.
Oh, I know.
Because no one wanted them.
I mean, I still can't sell it, but.
Have you been
nobody
trying?
wants 'em.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't listed it anywhere, but.
So you think 350Zs and Corvettes?
Probably, yeah. I think the drivetrain is super stout and the cars themselves are super stout. Like, the aftermarket capabilities are great. I mean, you can build a Z, you can buy a fucking, like a HRZ for what, 8 to 10 grand now and put like $4,000 parts in it? No? I mean, you still can, yeah. You can still find them.
I bought an HRZ like 24 months ago
Dude,
for
it used to be-
$2,000.
yeah.
$2,000?
I remember that, yeah.
All right, so what gets you excited for the next couple years, though? Like, do you watch any content online? Do you watch Nakamura videos or like D1 stuff? Or do you watch Formula D? Do you just watch like videos of Harrison combing his hair? He doesn't comb his hair.
Sometimes. He doesn't comb his hair.
No.
He doesn't even brush it.
No. So
Just, like,
what
gets
would
out
you
of the
do?
shower and I don't really do anything. I just like work.
You just work?
Yeah. And like work on my car and stuff. It doesn't even need work. I just work on it. Like just add stuff, you know? I used to watch a lot of videos, but like YouTube is just kind of boring to me now.
Yeah.
I watch your videos.
We probably
actually.
got oversaturated a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think everybody's trying to do it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I still watch your videos.
Which ones do you watch? Like interviews or drifting
I've watched some
ones?
interviews, yeah. But most of the drifting ones.
Really?
Yeah.
I find the drifting ones do worse than like a lot of just the simple talking and stuff because it's easier for people just, I don't know. I even have a hard time tuning into drifting sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's true, yeah.
Especially because like for something of mine, I'm just a guy drifting. Like I'm not Chelsea or Nakamura or Daigo or any of these like amazing drivers.
People don't care. Like as long as you're like sort of good at drifting, like people will watch it. You know?
I guess.
Because like
I was gonna say some of these guys are gnarly good though.
Yeah.
And then
Well,
I just
dude,
post like some helmet cam of me just like bombing around, like having fun. I'm having a good time, but you're like, woo, there's a lot of mistakes in that.
Those get a lot of views though because like that's how I started drifting technically was like watching in-car videos.
Really?
That's how I learned. Yeah.
Did you watch the video of James Dean driving his E92 like Eurofighter thing at a kart track recently? And he was like murder good. I'm gonna have to show that to you.
Okay.
The
oh, maybe. Was it the red one?
No, I'll show you this. We're gonna have to cut this down a little bit.
Yeah.
Watch this. It's gonna pull up a porn star.
Yeah, right.
Is this it? Yeah. Watch this clip. This is mind-numbing. I'm pretty sure that's the one.
Jesus. That backy was sick.
I can superimpose that over. But like, you know, you watch that and you're just like, I watched that clip like 10 times in a row.
He's just doing backies in every corner.
But how smooth
like,
everything
being
is and how
perfect, yeah.
insane and like how much throttle there is. Like you watch that and you realize you're like, wow, I'm bad at driving.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, I would go into that first turn, and I'd be like, oh, I shouldn't get on throttle yet. Shouldn't get on throttle yet. And then I get on throttle, I'm like, I was way too late, you know? But like James Dean is just like, chuck it in, full throttle.
So my point is there any type of media that you consume that's like that, where you're just like, I mean, that is so above what we do.
Yeah, no, I like that stuff. Like,
Jesus
dude,
Christ.
I'm on Instagram all day.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're just not a YouTube person, you're
Not
Instagram
really,
now.
I mean, I'll watch YouTube if I'm at home, just like chilling, but like, I'm pretty much never home. You know, like I pay rent every month to not be there. So, but like, I'll watch YouTube on my phone sometimes, but like I'd rather watch it on a TV, or else I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
So
this is interesting talking to young people. You're not even young anymore. I need to go talk to Danny or some of these younger kids, what they think of it. Especially because like we had Colin Bernard and we had, you know, Harrison Johnson. You didn't get in that early, but we had a lot of kids that got in at like 14.
Yeah.
It's interesting to like see which direction they go and everything and what they think is cool and then how they develop their cars.
Yeah. Well, and Colin, like, he started getting like professional, you know, like building a crazy car, and then he just like ditched it.
Yeah.
Like style car, you know. I don't know why.
I would assume the style car was a lot less expensive to run.
Yeah,
and also
and
like more fun to look at.
Yeah.
Especially because like our Trailer Queen cars, like this you can street drive and everything.
Yeah,
if you were to
I'm
have a
driving it to the
600
hotel
horsepower V8 or something in that, it becomes a Trailer Queen.
Yep.
And incredibly expensive to run. So he
like
was
Ben's
able.
car?
What?
Like Ben's car?
Ben who?
Ben Hobson?
Yeah.
It's insane.
So I was gonna say, this is still a very intermediate stage where you get an amazing amount of fun.
Yep.
Ben Hobson's tires for 3 months cost more than your entire car.
Yep.
Maybe Ben Hobson's tires for one event cost more than your entire car.
Probably.
Isn't that mind-blowing?
Yeah.
And do you
It's
think he
insane.
has more fun?
I mean, I know he has a lot of fun doing it. I actually worked FD with him for Irwin.
But I mean, you had a lot of fun today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, see?
Tons of fun. And it cost me, like, well, I guess including entry fee, but, like, it cost me $400 to get here,
Yeah.
you know? And that's, like, I'm not buying tires. I didn't buy tires.
That's insane, the tire thing.
Yeah.
When's your next purchase of tires? You're gonna have to eventually?
Probably next round.
Or are you just gonna get scrubs forever?
That's the thing is, like, I have 4 good scrubs in the back. I mean, not good, but, like, they'll last me a while in the back of my truck, and I'll probably
I need
run
to build a
those.
scrub car again. I got rid of my E36 M3, and then you're just like, what did I do?
Well, so, like, me and Patrick built our cars pretty much similar, so that we can just run scrubs the whole time.
No, it's smart.
Yeah. And this thing just, like,
There's not a lot of people that do that, though.
yeah.
Also-
it's so light and it doesn't make that much power, so it just doesn't go through tire.
My car is so aggressive out there and so fast. Like Fielding and I, we're full throttle basically from like back by that billboard way back there, you know, in the middle of that
Yeah.
sweeper, all the way around, just like as much as we can pedal it and like, you know, get around there. So we're doing so fast by the time we're over here. So we
yeah.
get addicted to that, like, I want to
mean, dude,
die
when I
feeling.
do Pro-Am, I drove Pro-Am here once, and,
Yeah.
like, I got, I think, 2nd or 3rd.
Dang,
Yeah.
that's ballin'.
Because that was the weekend I double podiumed here. Because I think I got 2nd in TXSL and 3rd in Pro.
That'd be funny if you beat Ben Hobson in this.
Yeah, right? That would be funny.
Watch him throw his helmet.
Yeah. I mean, he'd probably throw his helmet and then come give me a big old hug.
Yeah.
So, but, like,
All right.
I'm full throttle through that turn, and then I'm entering at like 100, probably 100 miles an hour.
That's rad.
Yeah.
This little guy
super
still
fun.
does it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she gets it.
All right. Well, we learned nothing by talking to you. We didn't learn that,
Hopefully
like,
it was fun
what
to
your
listen,
first
though,
things.
you know?
Yeah, I just laugh.
Yeah.
I'm like, some people will be so detailed about what they talk about. You know what I mean? They'll tell you
yeah.
every nuance of like, oh, this is why I did this. This is why my steering wheel is this steering wheel. This is why I cry when I look at the rearview mirror. You're like, some people get so emotional about everything.
I don't know, man. I just live life. That's
You
it.
just live life.
Yeah, just trying to have fun.
It hasn't emotionally scarred you yet, this car. No.
No.
All right. Well, I love seeing this car out there. Great job today. Let's go do something else, Si. Bye, everybody.